USN Black Star drifted through the void of the Keswick Run, like a forgotten piece of scrap, its hull pockmarked with fake rust and mismatched plating that made it look like it had been cobbled together from salvage. To any passing sensor sweep, it registered as exactly what it was supposed to be, an aging human freighter, slow, defenseless, and ripe for the picking. Captain Marcus. Iron Vance leaned back in his command chair, the faint glow of his cybernetic left eye flickering as he monitored the tactical display. The bridge was quiet, the hum of the ship's outdated systems a comforting background noise. His crew moved with practiced efficiency, their expressions calm but alert. They'd done this before. "Any bites yet?" asked Lieutenant Kara Voss, her fingers dancing over the navigation console. Marcus smirked. "Patience, Lieutenant. Voraks aren't known for subtlety. They'll come." As if on cue, the proximity alarm blared. A cluster of red dots blinked into existence on the tactical screen. Fast-moving, aggressive. "Here we go," Marcus muttered. The Vorak marauders descended like vultures, their sleek raider ships cutting through the darkness with predatory grace. The lead vessel, a jagged monstrosity bristling with plasma cannons, hailed the Black Star with a burst of static. The screen flickered to life, revealing the scarred face of Warlord Krazak, his reptilian features twisted into a sneer. "Human vessel," Krazak hissed, his voice dripping with amusement. "You are in Vorak territory. That makes your cargo ours." Marcus kept his expression carefully neutral. "This is a registered trade ship. Federation laws protect civilian haulers." Krazak barked a laugh, his jagged teeth glinting. "Federation laws don't reach the Keswick Run, soft skin. Surrender your cargo, or we peel your hull open like fruit." Behind Marcus, Ensign Rivas tensed, his hand hovering near the weapons console. Marcus gave an almost imperceptible shake of his head. "Not yet. We don't want trouble," Marcus said, playing the part of the nervous freighter captain perfectly. "We're just passing through." Krazak leaned closer to the screen, his slit pupils narrowing. "Too late for that. Prepare to be boarded." The transmission cut out. On the view screen, the Vorak raiders shifted formation, their boarding pods detaching like parasites ready to latch onto prey. Marcus exhaled slowly. "All right, folks, showtime." The crew moved with sudden purpose, their earlier sluggishness vanishing. Consoles lit up as the Black Star's true systems came online, hidden beneath layers of carefully maintained deception. "Reactive armor primed," Voss reported. "Gravity clamps ready," Rivas added. Marcus cracked his knuckles. "Let's give our guests a proper welcome." The first boarding pod slammed into the Black Star's hull with a metallic thud. Then, another. And another. The Voraks didn't bother with stealth. They never did. They poured out of their pods, plasma cutlasses glowing, their scaled hides glistening under the dim corridor lights. They never noticed the magnetic clamps until it was too late. The gravity shifted violently, sending the boarding party stumbling, bulkheads sealed shut behind them, trapping them in the cargo bay. Over the ship's comms, Marcus' voice echoed, calm and mocking. "You wanted our cargo, here it is. Lead." The first shots rang out, human crew in light, powered exo, suits dropped from hidden compartments above, their rifles barking in perfect synchronization. The Voraks barely had time to scream. On the bridge, Marcus watched the carnage unfold on the security feeds. Krazak's face reappeared on the screen, his earlier smugness replaced by fury. "What kind of freighter are you?" the warlord snarled. Marcus leaned forward, his cybernetic eye gleaming, the kind that bites back. Outside, the Black Star's false hull plating began to peel away, revealing the blackened warship armor beneath. The trap had sprung. The Vorak boarding pods slammed into the Black Star's hull with metallic shrieks, their plasma cutters already flaring to life. Inside the dimly lit corridors of the human ship, Captain Marcus Vance watched the docking alerts flash across his cybernetic eye's HUD. A slow grin spread across his scarred face. "Right on schedule," he muttered, tapping the comms panel. "All hands, we have guests. Let's give them the full hospitality package." The first Vorak raiders burst through the airlock, their scaled faces twisted in predatory glee. They expected panic. They expected cowering humans scrambling to hide. Instead, they found an empty corridor lined with flickering emergency lights. "Where are the soft skins?" hissed one pirate, his forked tongue darting out to taste the air. Then the gravity shifted. Magnetic clamps hidden in the walls activated with a deep thrum, locking onto the pirates' armored boots. Vorak warriors stumbled as their own weight suddenly tripled, some crashing to their knees under the unexpected force. From the shadows, human crewmen opened fire, not with the crude ballistic weapons the pirates expected. Not with the weak energy pistols most species used for shipboard combat. The Black Star's security teams wore light-powered exosuits, their armor glowing faintly blue as they moved with impossible speed. Their rifles barked short, controlled bursts, hyper-velocity rounds that punched through Vorak body armor like paper. Warlord Krazak's voice roared over the comms from his mothership. "What is happening? Report!" One of his lieutenants managed to key his transmitter, just as a human soldier put a round between his eyes. The transmission cut off with a wet gurgle. Marcus strode onto the scene, his heavy boots clanging against the deck plates. He casually stepped over a dying Vorak, the pirate's claws scrabbling weakly at his leg. The captain didn't even glance down as he crushed the alien's wrist under his heel. "Captain Vance to the Moor of Keswick," he said, activating the ship-wide comms. His voice echoed through both vessels. "You wanted our cargo." On the bridge of the pirate mothership, Krazak leaned forward, his crest flaring in anger. Marcus's grin was all teeth. "Here it is, lead." The Vorak warlord barely had time to process the words before new alarms screamed through his ship. The Black Star's outer hull was peeling away, not from damage, but by design. Great plates of what they'd thought was rusted metal detached in perfect sections, revealing sleek black armor beneath. "Shields up," Krazak bellowed. Too late. The Black Star's point defense turrets, hidden until now, unleashed hell. Rapid-fire plasma cannons, swiveled and locked onto the boarding pods, still attached to its hull. Each shot was surgical, precise, blowing the pirate vessels apart, without so much as scorching the human ship's newly revealed armor. Inside the corridors, the remaining Vorak raiders found themselves trapped between the advancing human forces and the sudden vacuum as their escape pods disintegrated. One tried to raise his plasma cutlass in defiance. A human soldier in an exosuit grabbed the weapon bare-handed. The suit is energy, dispersing gloves making the searing blade harmless, and snapped it in two before driving the broken end through the pirate's chest. "Clean up on deck 4, Marcus said calmly over the internal comms. Then he turned to his weapons officer. "Now that we've got their attention, let's show them what a real warship looks like." On the bridge of the Moor of Keswick, Krazak watched in growing horror as his boarding party's life signals winked out one by one. His tactical display updated, the Black Star's profile shifting from civilian freighter to something else entirely. "Warlord," his sensor officer cried. "That ship, its power signature." Krazak's claws dug into his command chair. "Spit it out. It is not a cargo hauler. It is a Terran Q-ship." The words hung in the air as the Black Star's main engines flared to life, the vessel turning with impossible agility for something its size. Where there had been rust and patchwork plating now stood a warship bristling with weapons. Its true silhouette revealed at last. Marcus Vance's face appeared on the view screen again, his cybernetic eye gleaming. "You pirates always make the same mistake," he said. "You see what we want you to see." Outside, the last of the Black Star's disguise fell away completely, revealing 6 massive spinal, mounted cannons sliding into firing position. Krazak felt his blood run cold. Those weren't just any weapons. The energy signatures matched Federation planet, Cracker class. "Now," Marcus said, "let's talk about who is surrendering to whom." The Vorak warlord had just enough time to realize they'd boarded a wolf in sheep's clothing before the Black Star opened fire. The Vorak boarding party stumbled as the Black Star's artificial gravity suddenly inverted. Krazak's warriors crashed against the ceiling, their plasma cutlasses clattering across the suddenly unfamiliar deck. The human crew moved like ghosts through the chaos, their light-powered exosuits humming as they opened fire with pinpoint precision. "Gravity's ours now, Scalies." Marcus's voice crackled through the shipwide comms. The pirate's translator implant struggled with the human's mocking tone. Krazak roared, flipping himself upright with a tail swipe. His warriors scrambled to follow, but the humans had already vanished into the ship's maze of corridors. "Find them," he snarled. "Tear this rust bucket apart." A young Vorak named Vrix tapped his wrist scanner. "Warlord, the ship's layout isn't matching our scans. Bulkheads are moving." Before Krazak could respond, the deck plating beneath them shuddered. Hidden panels slid open, releasing a swarm of spherical drones no larger than a human fist. They moved with eerie silence, clustering around the pirates like metallic insects. Vrix's scanner screeched a warning. "Radiation spikes." There, the first drone detonated. The explosion wasn't fiery or dramatic, just a blinding white flash, and a concussive thump that sent Vorak warriors flying. Krazak's reinforced scales saved him from the worst of it, but half his boarding party collapsed, their inner ears ruptured by the pressure wave. Marcus's laughter echoed through the smoke. "Surprised, we call those party favors." On the bridge of the Moor of Keswick, First Claw Zorath watched the battle unfold with growing unease. The human freighter's defenses were impossible. No merchant vessel had that kind of tech. His claws danced across the tactical display, pulling up the Black Star's registry again. "This makes no sense," he muttered. "That ship's listed as a grain hauler." A junior sensor officer hissed in alarm. "First Claw, the freighter just launched something small, fast." Zorath's frill flared. "Target them, now." The Moor's Point defense turrets spun up, filling space with glowing plasma bolts. The human drones weaved through the barrage with impossible agility, their movements too precise, too coordinated. One slipped through. The explosion against the Moor's shield sent bridge consoles exploding in showers of sparks. Zorath tasted blood where his fangs had cut his own tongue. "Shield status," he roared. "Down to Faye," a technician gasped. That was just one of them. Back aboard the Black Star, Marcus watched the pirate mothership's frantic maneuvers on the tactical holo. His gunnery sergeant, a grizzled woman named Harlow, cracked her knuckles. "They're waking up, Captain. Mothership's charging weapons." Marcus nodded. "Time to show them why that is a bad idea. Activate Dustmaker Protocol." Deep in the Black Star's hidden armory, racks of dormant drones lit up with targeting data. Their spherical shells split open, revealing miniature warheads that glowed an ominous blue. Harlow punched the launch sequence. Birds away. Space around the Black Star shimmered as hundreds of Dustmaker drones streaked outward. The Vorak fighter screen tried to intercept, but the drones moved in unpredictable swarms, dodging and weaving like living things. The first wave hit. The Moor of Keswick vanished behind a chain of miniature suns. Vorak fighters caught in the blasts disintegrated instantly, their molten debris scattering like metallic rain. On the Black Star's bridge, Marcus watched the fireworks with a predator's smile. That got their attention. Krazak's furious voice burst over the comms, his translator glitching with static. "What are you? No freighter has weapons like this." Marcus leaned back in his command chair. "You're right, we're not a freighter." Outside, the last of the Black Star's outer hull plating blew away, revealing the sleek, blackened warship beneath. Zorath's scream echoed across the Moor's bridge. "All power to shields." Now, but it was already too late. The Black Star's main batteries hummed to life, their charging sequence lighting up Vorak sensors with apocalyptic warnings. Krazak, still trapped aboard the human ship, felt his blood run cold. His warriors looked to him for orders, but for the first time in his raiding career, the warlord had none. Marcus's voice was calm, almost conversational. "You wanted to see our cargo, Krazak. Let me show you exactly what humanity's been shipping." The Vorak pirates scrambled across their decks as the Black Star's outer plating began to shudder. Warlord Krazak gripped the armrests of his command throne, his slit pupils dilating as the human freighter's hull plate started peeling away in perfect geometric sections. What in the burning void plasma? Scorched panels detached with explosive bolts, tumbling into the dark beneath the disguise. Polished black alloy gleamed under the distant starlight. The Vorak sensor officer let out a guttural scream as his console lit up with threat warnings. Warlord energy spikes from there. 6 massive barrels extended from the Black Star's spine, each one longer than a Vorak frigate. Magnetic containment rings hummed to life along their lengths, glowing blue as they powered up. The pirate mothership's tactical display automatically classified the weapons, and then recalculated 3 times as the system struggled to comprehend the readings. Krazak's claws dug into his throne. Those can't be. On the Black Star's bridge, Captain Marcus Vance cracked his knuckles. His cybernetic eye whirred as it zoomed in on the maw of Keswick's panicking crew. Engineering report. Gungnir Lances at 90%, Skipper, came the reply through the comms. A woman's voice, calm as if discussing reactor maintenance. Capacitors holding steady at 12 terajoules per barrel. Marcus nodded. He'd seen these weapons tested once before on a dead moon in the Proxima system. The footage still gave him nightmares. Comms, open channel to our scaly friends. Static crackled across the pirate fleet's emergency bands before Marcus's voice boomed through. Vorak vessels, this is your final warning. Power down weapons and surrender. Krazak slammed a fist on his console. You dare, because if you don't, Marcus continued, my gunnery chief gets to test whether his new targeting algorithms work on moving targets. Deep in the Black Star's armored core, Gunnery Sergeant Rivas grinned at his bank of screens. Each one displayed a different Vorak ship, crosshairs dancing across their weak points. His fingers flew over the controls, adjusting for solar wind and relativistic drift. All lances locked. Cap, just say the word. Aboard the Moor, Krazak second. In command, a grizzled veteran named Sithak grabbed his warlord's arm. The readings don't lie. Those are planet cracker weapons. No freighter carries. Silence, Krazak roared, but his eyes kept darting to the tactical display, where the Black Star's weapon signatures now matched those of a Federation dreadnought. His mind raced. How? Humans were supposed to be weak, their ships fragile. This changed everything. Marcus watched the pirate fleet hesitate. He'd seen this moment before, the exact instant when predators realized they'd bitten off more than they could chew. Helm, bring us about 30 degrees starboard. Let them see all 6 barrels. The Black Star rotated smoothly, its hidden maneuvering thrusters flaring. The movement revealed the full extent of its spinal armament, each Gungnir lance capable of piercing a continent's crust. Sithak's scales paled. Warlord, their power output, I see it, Krazak snapped, but his voice lacked its usual conviction. The tactical display now showed the Black Star's reactor output spiking into the red zone. No freighter had that kind of power. No civilian vessel needed it. Marcus leaned forward in his command chair. Last chance, Krazak. The pirate warlord's claws flexed. Every instinct told him to attack, to crush this insolent human. But the rational part of his brain, the part that had kept him alive through 100 raids, screamed retreat. On the Black Star's gunnery deck, Rivas watched his screens. Cap, their shields just flickered. Think they're powering weapons, Marcus finished. He sighed. Well, we tried. The order didn't need to be spoken. Rivas's fingers danced across his console. Firing solution confirmed, all lances hot, deep within the Black Star. 6 superconducting coils charged to critical levels. The ship's reactor diverted every spare joule into the magnetic containment fields. For a single, terrifying second, the void between the ships shimmered with Cherenkov radiation. Then space itself tore apart as the Gungnir lances fired. The beams weren't bright, they weren't loud, they simply existed. Perfect lines of annihilating force that ignored conventional physics. Vorak shields vaporized on contact. Hull plating turned to superheated plasma before the beams even touched them. Krazak had exactly seconds to realize his mistake before the maw of Keswick's command deck ceased to exist. Marcus watched the tactical display update in real time. 3 pirate frigates vanished from the plot entirely. 2 more spun out of control, their engines sheared clean off. The maw itself listed to port, a gaping hole punched straight through its core. "Cease fire," Marcus ordered. He didn't need to waste ammunition on Rex. Reavers leaned back, cracking his knuckles. Damn, these new guns really do work. On what remained of the Moor's bridge, Sithak pulled himself from the wreckage. His left arm was gone, severed by molten deck plating, but he still managed to crawl to the shattered remains of the comms console. The emergency channel was still open. The last thing he heard before passing out was Marcus Vance's voice, calm as deep space. "You pirates always forget. Humans invented treachery and war." The bridge of the Black Star fell silent as the Gungnir cannons finished charging. A low hum vibrated through the deck plates, making the crew's teeth rattle. Captain Marcus Vance leaned forward in his command chair, his cybernetic eye whirring as it zoomed in on the maw of Keswick. The Vorak mothership loomed ahead, its jagged hull bristling with weapons, its shields glowing a sickly green. "Target locked," announced Lieutenant Chen, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. "All 6 lances primed and ready." Marcus cracked his knuckles. "Fire one." The Black Star shuddered as the first Gungnir round launched. It wasn't like conventional weapons, no bright streak of plasma, no roaring missile trail, just a dark, elongated spike of hyper-compressed tungsten, accelerated to a fraction of light speed. It crossed the distance between the ships in less than a heartbeat. On the maw of Keswick, Warlord Krazak barely had time to blink before the alarm screamed. His scaly hands gripped the armrests of his throne as the ship's AI screeched a warning. "Shield breach, incoming projectile." Then the round hit. The Vorak mothership's shields flared for a single blinding instant before collapsing like paper. The Gungnir round punched straight through the energy barrier, through 3 layers of armored plating, and into the ship's primary reactor core. For half a second, nothing happened. Then the maw of Keswick split apart. A seam of white-hot plasma erupted along the ship's spine, tearing it in two, like a piece of rotten fruit. Secondary explosions rippled outward, detonating weapons bays, fuel reserves, and escape pods before they could even launch. The bridge crew of the Black Star watched in silence as the pirate ship's remains tumbled through the void, trailing fire and debris. "Direct hit," Chen said, her voice flat. "Target destroyed." Marcus exhaled slowly. Had seen ships die before, but there was something different about this one. Maybe it was the way the Voraks had laughed at them, called them weak. Maybe it was the way Krazak had sneered over the comms, so sure of his victory. Now there was nothing left of him but atoms. "Status on the remaining pirate forces?" Marcus asked. "Scattered," replied Ensign Rook, his fingers flying over the sensor console. "Most of their fighters are either drifting or trying to flee. A few are hailing for surrender." Marcus leaned back, rubbing his temple. "Open a channel to all remaining Vorak vessels." The comms officer nodded, and a moment later, Marcus' voice echoed across every pirate ship still clinging to life in the black. "This is Captain Marcus Vance of the US and Black Star. Your warlord is dead. Your mothership is scrap. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. If you try to run, we will shoot you down." He paused, letting the words sink in. "Choose wisely." On the view screen, one by one, the remaining pirate ships went dark, their engines cutting out, their weapons systems shutting down. A few hesitated. Then, as the Black Star's turret swiveled toward them, they too surrendered. Marcus allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. "Rook, signal the nearest Federation outpost. Tell them we've got prisoners to hand over." Chen arched an eyebrow. "You're not going to space them?" Marcus shook his head. "No need. Let the galaxy see what happens when you mess with human freighters." He turned to the helmsman. "Bring us about. Time to send a message." The Black Star's engines thrummed as the ship pivoted, its hidden weapons still humming with lethal potential. Behind it, the wreckage of the Maw of Keswick burned silently, a monument to human ingenuity and a warning to anyone else stupid enough to underestimate them. In the darkness of space, the pirates had learned the hard way. Humans didn't just survive. They fought back. The explosion of the Maw of Keswick sent shockwaves far beyond the debris field. Within hours, every major faction in the Orion Arm had the footage. The Vorak marauders, once the terror of the Keswick run, had been reduced to floating scrap by a ship they'd dismissed as a worthless human freighter. On the bridge of the Black Star, Marcus Vance watched the first reports roll in. His cybernetic eye flickered as it passed data streams. The crew worked in silence, the weight of what they'd just done settling over them. Signal from the Federation Border Patrol. Captain Comms Officer Reyes said. Her fingers danced over the console. They're demanding identification and, clarification. Marcus smirked. Clarification. Yeah, they want to know if we're actually a freighter. A chuckle rippled through the crew. Marcus leaned back in his chair. Tell them we're a multi-role vessel. Across the galaxy, panic was spreading. On the glittering spires of Cententrum Prime, Federation diplomats scrambled to emergency sessions. Grand Admiral Velis of the Tarkian Defense Fleet slammed a clawed hand onto the holotable. You're telling me humans have been hiding planet? Killers inside cargo haulers. His aide, a slender Ceralian, bobbed nervously. Not just one, sir. Early scans suggest there are at least 200 similar signatures across known trade routes. Velis' crest flushed crimson. 200, the Ceralian swallowed. And those are just the ones we can detect. Meanwhile, in the smoky halls of the Vorak High Claw, Warlord Krazak's surviving lieutenants huddled in disgrace. The air stank of fear and burnt scales. This changes everything, hissed Krax the Unbroken, his left arm still smoldering from the Black Star's parting shot. If the humans can do this, what else are they hiding? Back on the Black Star, Marcus opened a channel to Earth Command. The face of Admiral Singh flickered to life, her expression unreadable. You've started a war, Vance. Marcus shook his head. No, ma'am, we just ended one. Singh's lips twitched. The Federation Council is in an uproar. They're calling it the most egregious violation of interstellar arms treaties in history. Funny, Marcus said. I don't recall humans signing those treaties. A pause, then Singh nodded. Fair point. But this isn't over, they'll retaliate. Let them try, Marcus said. We've got 200 more Black Stars waiting to say hello. The news feeds exploded. On every inhabited world, species who'd once dismissed humans as weak traders now watched in horror as the truth unfolded. The freighters they'd ignored, taxed, or preyed upon were warships in disguise, and humanity had just announced they were done playing nice. In a dim-lit bar on the edge of Federation space, a grizzled Superior mercenary drained his drink and muttered to his crew, "We're changing routes, no more Keswick Run." His first mate, a hulking Brontin, frowned. "Since when do we fear humans?" The mercenary tapped the news feed showing the Maw of Keswick's wreckage. Since that, on the bridge of the USN Thunderchild, the second Black Star, class ship to decloak, Captain Elena Mbeki watched her sensors light up with fleeing pirate vessels. She grinned. "Looks like the message is getting through." Her weapons officer, a fresh-faced ensign from Mars, blinked at the screen. "They're running." Elena leaned forward. "Damn right they are. And they'll keep running every time they see a human hull." By nightfall, the first surrender demands came in. The Vorak High Claw, their fleet in tatters, offered tribute. The Zepyrian Syndicate renounced all claims to human trade lanes. Even the mighty Tarkian Armada adjusted their patrol routes, giving the Keswick Run a wide berth. In the halls of power, the realization dawned. Humanity hadn't just won a battle, they'd rewritten the rules. Admiral Velis stood before the Federation Council, his voice uncharacteristically quiet. "We may have misjudged human defensive doctrine." The chamber erupted. On the Black Star, Marcus Vance finally allowed himself a full smile. He tapped the ship, wide comm. All hands stand down from battle stations. And for the record, you just made history. The crew cheered. Somewhere in the dark, 200 more Black Stars powered up their drives. The galaxy would never look at a human freighter the same way again. The comm channels across the Keswick run lit up like supernovas. Every pirate, smuggler, and two-bit warlord in the sector watched in stunned silence as the Black Star's broadcast played on repeat. Marcus Vance's scarred face filled every view screen, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly in the dim bridge lighting. Attention all vessels in the Keswick run. His voice carried the weight of orbital bombardment. This is Captain Marcus Vance of the United Earth Stellar Navy. Effective immediately, this sector falls under human protection. On screens from the dingiest pirate dens to the most fortified Vorak hideouts. Footage played of the maw of Keswick's destruction, the planet, killer round slicing through the massive pirate flagship like a knife through butter. Aboard the crippled remains of the Vorak raider Bloodtooth, Warlord Krazak clutched his bleeding side as his surviving crew stared at the main display. One of his junior officers, a scaly brute missing half his teeth, turned with wide yellow eyes. Warlord, what do we do? Krazak's forked tongue flicked out in agitation. Across the sector, similar scenes played out on a dozen different species ships. The Thalaxian smuggler Silent Prophet abruptly changed course, its insectoid captain screeching orders to dump all contraband. The massive Dreadnought battleship Bone Crusher, which had terrorized the run for decades, suddenly powered down its weapons in full surrender posture. Back on the Black Star, Tactical Officer Lieutenant Chen grinned at her display. Captain, we're reading mass panic across the sector. Every pirate vessel within 10 light years is either running or surrendering. Marcus leaned back in his command chair, the leather creaking. Good, send the fleet. Wide signal. Aboard 200 other freighters hidden throughout the sector, human captains received the coded transmission from asteroid shadows and behind gas giants. The Black Star-class ships emerged. Hull plates that had appeared rusted and battered slid away, revealing gleaming armor and weapon ports. The USN Thunderchild decloaked directly above the pirate haven of Keswick Prime, its Gungnir cannons humming to life. The USN Titan's Fist materialized alongside a convoy of terrified slavers, its point defense lasers tracking every movement. On the bridge of the Federation monitoring station, eyes of Cententrum, Admiral Vrel nearly dropped his datapad. The cephalopod, like aliens' tentacles, trembled as sensor reports flooded in. By the Seven Moons, they had an entire fleet hiding as merchant ships. His XO, a rigidly formal Cerealian, pulsed blue with alarm. Admiral, our scans indicate at least 70% of what we classified as human civilian traffic in this sector are actually warships of this new class. Vrel's beak clicked in distress. On screen, the Black Star's broadcast continued. Any vessel engaged in piracy, slavery, or unlicensed aggression will be met with lethal force. Vance stated calmly. Human freighters don't run anymore, we hunt. The effect was instantaneous. The notorious Dreadnought raider Skull Ripper, which had laughed off Federation patrols for years, abruptly jettisoned its weapons pods and transmitted surrender codes. The Thalaxian hive ship Venom Maw, which had never been caught despite hundreds of attacks, went to full emergency burn toward the galactic rim. On Keswick Prime's main orbital station, a motley crowd of pirates, mercenaries, and black market dealers watched the feeds in stunned silence. A grizzled Vorak mercenary who'd survived 3 wars tossed his plasma cutlass onto the bar with a clatter. Well, fuck this, he growled. I'm finding a new line of work. Similar scenes played out across every den of scum and villainy in the sector. Slave markets emptied as terrified traffickers released their captives. Weapons dealers frantically tried to scrub their transaction records. The entire economy of lawlessness that had thrived in the Keswick run for centuries collapsed in less than an hour. Back on the Black Star, Marcus watched the tactical displays with satisfaction. His comm officer looked up. Sir. We're receiving a priority hail from Federation High Command. The image of Admiral Vrel appeared, his tentacles twitching nervously. Captain Vance, the Federation Council requests an immediate conference to discuss recent developments. Marcus leaned forward. Tell the Council they're welcome to discuss proper licensing procedures for trade routes. But make one thing clear, Admiral. He paused, letting his words sink in. The Keswick Run belongs to humanity now. Across the sector, from the darkest asteroid bases to the most fortified pirate strongholds, one truth became undeniable. The rules had changed. The hunters had become the hunted. And for the first time in galactic history, the pirates started running.